Hello everyone and welcome back to Sex, Love and Energy. This is MJ and today to have an amazing guest, Pauline. How are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, MJ. Lovely to finally get this happening.
I know, I'm super excited to have this conversation with you. So thank you so much for taking the time and to be here today. Well, let's start a little bit. Tell us to our audience, what exactly do you do? What is the thing it really fills your heart and you are passionate about it?
Okay, sure. So my name is Pauline Ryland and my business is Intimacy Whisperer, and I've been working as an intimacy, sex and libido educator for about 15 years now. So I work with singles and or couples. You don't have to be in a relationship to work with me. It's primarily working with sexual problems and issues. So I can work with women. I do specialise as a libido coach, so turning you back on. For a variety of reasons, we do turn off. So I can get the libido back by working with the sexual energy. I work with women that have internal pain and don't orgasm. I work with men, excuse me, with all their erection challenges that they can have, premature ejaculation, Peyronie's disease, which is the thing that the penis suddenly has a bend in it, and that can be quite detrimental. Prostate, and I work with sexual trauma. So I'm a mindset coach as well. So I work with NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, which is working with the subconscious to bring about change on the conscious level, because sometimes the sexual issues can be a little bit a combination of physical and mental. So we sort of look at both aspects. I'm a tantra teacher and educator, a somatic sexological body worker, and I do a practice called havening, which is for trauma and anxiety as well. So I just sort of intertwine all of that into my coaching.
That's complex and
Yeah,
complete coaching because
yeah,
you actually teach like mind, body, and soul all in once.
yes.
And I really like you mentioned in terms of like the libido problems and then how sometimes we have trauma, they haven't been released. Clearly, with you coaching, you just approach them within the subconscious mind because at the end of the day, that is like our black box where we record and storage all the previous experiences being there, but we haven't released it and how much can affect us and in our life as well.
Oh, yeah, so very much. I sometimes get clients at the end go, well, I came because I had this particular issue, like let's say they had no libido, but I got so much more because we sort of encompass everything. I do a lot of mindset work, a lot of mindset hacks. I look at if people are getting depressed, they're all things that can be contributing to the specific problem. So I take a very holistic approach.
I love the holistic approach. I think you take more, you don't solve the effect, you go into the cause. What is the cause of your trauma? And what are you feeling this way? And then holistically, you try to help them and transform because that's why they wanted to.
Yeah, so I traditionally work as an NLP coach primarily because with that it's like looking at this is what your problem is. Okay, so sometimes it's pretty obvious what we want to achieve, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a bit grey and we have to have a conversation. So I look at where you are, where you want to be, and look at what do we need to do in between to get you from A to B. And so it's about really digging below the surface to get to all those underlying core issues that are driving the actual challenge. I also work with porn and porn, that sort of stuff, getting people off porn. And the whole thing is about getting people more present and connected to their bodies, out of their heads into their bodies, so that they can actually enjoy the pleasure and not wondering what's happening next.
I really like you touched two things here. First, it was the corn thing. And the second is the disconnection of the body.
Yes.
How much do you think we are living in this society where everything is right now? We don't want to feel, we don't want to experience this journey or this gap in between point A and point B, and how hard and difficult our life have become because of that reason. We are not connected of who we are, of this vessel. What would you be your advice for the audience today?
Look, it's really important because we are living in a very disconnected society on so many levels. We're on our phones, we're on our laptops all the time, we're glued to them. I'm just as guilty. but it's a time and place. So it's about knowing when to put the phones down and when to actually engage in conversation and that communication and that connection. It's so important. It sort of is almost like a lost art, which is sort of like the normal way of living, but it's because of where we are in society with technology, it's almost become a lost art. So it's really about peeling that back, having conversations, put the phone away, talk to your partner,
Talk to your partner.
yeah,
The
about,
communication is fundamental, right?
yeah, 100%.
Like just the honesty we bring to ourselves, but also to our partners. Because
Yeah,
some people, I think, we get into the trap we get in a relationship thinking that relationship is going to solve our trauma. But actually, what do you think about this? You are the professional.
no, it doesn't. It's just, it's like I'll be happy when I'm in a relationship is a classic one. And it's like you can't rely on an outside source to make you happy. You have to learn that happiness within. You have to be connected to yourself, find your inner joy, your happiness, your passions, the things that make you want to get up and get out into the day, whether it's work or play. You've got to find those inner joys and passions. Otherwise, someone coming along is not going to change that trajectory of what you're feeling. Yeah, you'll feel good for a little while, but that unresolved unhappiness will still be there.
Absolutely. I do believe the same. Rely on external sources to feel happiness is not the best one. Because regardless of what happens around us, at the end of the day, that's coming from the within. So if we are not able to enjoy our own company or ourselves, we're going to start feeling empty either way.
That's right. So it's about just connected to ourselves. So, a great way to connect to ourselves right now is just learn to breathe. Nice, long, slow, deep breath. Sit there for 5 minutes and do some breathing. That connects you and that grounds you. And the more grounded you are, the more present you become within yourself. So that's just a really easy thing to do to help with that, for sure.
Definitely. Pranayama, breathing exercises. Just put yourself in the present moment. Just inhale, exhale. Wow, that's so very powerful. And so sounds so simple, right?
I know.
Sometimes the simple things is the one that helps you the most, and the ones we completely avoid them because we don't know why.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to have a better sexual experience. The best place to be is in your body, not in your head, wondering what's going to happen next, or is this going to happen? Am I going to have an orgasm? Am I going to maintain my erection? Am I going to lose it? What's going to, am I going to last long enough? All these things floating around our heads, not helping us with our actual sexual connection, because it actually creates a disconnection, even though we're having sex, because we're in our heads. We need to learn to be in our bodies and just trust our bodies know what to do. Like our bodies know. It's us that gets in the way.
Do you think, touching in that point, that in this day we have too high expectations in regards of what happened during intimacy? Because some people have expectation based on porn, for example, and actually that is a performance and it's not actually real intimacy. How do you think if people can solve that problems? Because maybe the expectation of having good sex is one thing, but actually what is happening in bed is completely other thing.
Yeah. Well, this is what I teach about that connection. I do teach about letting go of expectation and demand, because there is that, once you can let go of expectation and demand and come to a place of being in allowance. And okay, in allowance, it might mean that something's not happening quite right sexually, then we have to communicate. It's like, oh, babe, I love it when you do X, Y. No, that when you do that doesn't really work for me. But we don't speak. Like, we can speak up about anything with our partners. We can always sort of laugh and go, we can burp and fart in front of our partners, but we can't actually speak about what we actually want or don't want, or what we like or don't like with our partners. I'm like going, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, but that's actually the reality.
Right. Like, it doesn't make sense we are able to speak like, what are the bills we have to pay this month, but not how we're going to get some pleasure in between us and build that bond through based on honesty and just pure love, because at the end of the day it's understanding to each other what do they need to be better.
Yeah.
And it's been a challenge, right? It's a challenge.
Yes, and I think, that's the key thing, and sort of like knowing what your requirements are could be completely different to your partner's. Like if we look at love language, one partner might be really kinesthetic, really needing touch, and the other person might want validation. So that means you're trying to touch your partner all the time because that's your love language, and they might be going, no, she's not loving me. I need her to tell me how fantastic I am, because that's his validation, and then they'll be validating, and you're going, but that's not landing on me because I want touch. So you have to almost step into your partner's shoes and see what they see, feel what they feel, hear what they hear, and sort of try and bring into some of those things so that you can sort of meet halfway, because maybe you're not a complete match in those things, you know? So it's
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, the difference in between the love languages is very important. And then knowing which one is yours and what exactly do you need is going to be fundamental in the relationship. Because
yeah,
otherwise, it's like one wanted to eat chicken and rice and the other one just want to eat salad, you know? And then if we don't understand each other, like it's okay, you like to eat chicken and rice, I mean salad, we respect to each other. But at the end of the day, we need to come to this agreement, I guess, finding the middle ground.
that's right. It's 100% finding that middle ground. And sometimes people aren't even really aware of it. I'll give you a really great example that just popped into my head. I saw this couple of years ago, and he had chronic PTSD, ex-army, so he had been in high intel, so he'd seen some pretty horrible stuff. He was not in his body. He wasn't in his head. He was like out here somewhere. And so what would happen is she would be talking to him and he'd be like off in the cosmos, and then it would bring him back into presence, and he'd like almost snap because he would get a fright. And he did not want to be touched at all. He couldn't stand to be touched. And in this session, she's all over him. She's touching him and he's on his legs, and he's saying, I can't handle being touched. And I'm looking at this going, hang on a minute. And I got them to stop, and I said, and I asked her, I said, are you not hearing what your husband's saying? I understand that you're starved of touch. You haven't had intimacy for years, but at the same time, you're not hearing him saying he cannot handle being touched. And you're all over him like a rash. Not quite like that, but you know what I mean? And it was like a real wake up call. So we had to give some steps. So she would have the awareness of where he was. And then when he would come back into reality and back into his body, he could just put his hands on his belly, take a breath and go, I didn't hear what you said. Could you repeat that, please? Because he was off in the cosmos. And so I had to create some strategies for them to communicate. But she was not even aware that she was touching him. He's literally saying, I hate being touched.
Wow.
It was pretty intense. Yeah.
And probably that's the same problem that so many couples they have right now because they are not listening to each other. I think it's a good point we're touching this. We have 2 points. One is like I'm listening to understand, or I'm just listening to you. And I think the active listen is fundamental if you want to start releasing some trauma and connecting with your partner. Maybe you are single right now and you want to start connecting with new partners. You have to start listening, not just what do you like, is the other person, what the other person is really like. Because
Yeah.
maybe they need something completely different than us. And
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. And it's that navigation of finding what works and what doesn't work. And I think the key is if you have that communication and to be able to talk about all those things, then you can actually get somewhere. And yeah, there is compromise. That's what relationships are about. So it comes down to how much do you want to compromise? Is that a deal breaker for you? If it's a deal breaker, why is it a deal breaker? Is it just a deal breaker because it's something that you put in your head X years ago and said, that's a deal breaker. I would never date a man with bad teeth, let's say, for example. And then you meet the man and he's a beautiful soul and he ticks all the boxes, but he's got terrible teeth. Like, do you turn your back on that because that's something that you put in your head so many years ago? You have to be open, you have to have movement and flexibility and be in that non-judgment space, and then see what else can develop from that.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's I think learning to let it go that you experience, we have to accept it, what we felt, and then just being able to make this conscious decision to say, I'm not going to repeat this pattern, or I'm going to just let it go, this feeling, because I allow myself to have a new experience as well and not being stuck in that negative feeling. Because at the end of the day, if we are not able to release this trauma, we're going to destroy the relationship we love, or we're going to even destroy ourselves, because all the time we're going to get back into the same pattern, like a cycle. And it's never going to end until we decide what we're going to let it go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know, you have to, we've all got baggage from relationships that we've been with for decades and previous relationships, or stuff from our childhood. We've all got it. There's very few people that got perfect lives and have perfect existence. So it's a matter of looking at what that is and how that affects the current relationship that you're in.
Absolutely. I think the baggage is just a little extra. We need to learn how to carry on and how to be aware. I think I accept the flaws, that nobody's perfect, and we need to feel a little compassion for ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Now I have another question in regards of when we talk about sexual energy.
Yes.
There is a lot of people, they think sexual energy is just sex or intimacy. What are your thoughts about sexual energy?
It's a part of sex, but it can also be separate as well.
Good point.
Yeah, it can be separate. You can have sexual energy running and not be having any sex. You can have your sexual energy running, and it's like this energetic movement happening through your body. It's not necessarily genital based. It's just an energy that's running through your body, and you're feeling amazing, and it's like an orgasmic experience. But yeah, it's actually not genital based at all. So that would be one way of describing sexual energy. And then when you bring that sexual energy into actually having sex, then it just transforms it in a whole different level as well. So it is sort of a separate thing, but it can become combined together with the actual act of sex.
That's amazing. That's well said. Yeah, I love the fact that it's part of the sex, but also you can just take it and use this energy because it's a life force. So we can use the energy to let it go, maybe the traumas we have been holding, or even to put into work this energy and maybe a new manifestation in a new guy we would like to receive as well.
Yeah. Look, there's lots you can do, but it's kind of fun lying there just letting the sexual energy run through your body. It's almost like, look, no hands, having all this pleasure running through my body, but I'm not actually touching myself, and then going, oh, do I want to touch myself now? Yes or no? It gives you options. It just opens up the sexual experience a whole lot more. It's like with men, you can teach men to have to have an orgasm without ejaculation. Right? Now that some people are going, what? That's not possible. And it's actually true, because an orgasm and ejaculation are actually two separate physiological things that over time have become collapsed together. So men can actually learn to separate that. It's through breath work, and through breath work practice, they can learn to separate it so that they can then have energetic orgasms, which is the sexual energy running, multiple body orgasms, but they don't actually ejaculate. They choose when they want to ejaculate, and that's phenomenal experience for men. And then when with a man that does that, it's a whole nother level as well. So there's so much more that we can do sexually that we're not doing.
It's so good you just leave that open door to say ejaculation and orgasmic experiences are completely two different things, and they can be on their own or they can be together. And I think that when we disattach ourselves for the result or just the orgasm, we can just have a better experiences, because we navigate through this wave of pleasure. They can incorporate and have a new experience than just the end goal.
That's right, and that's exactly right. We want to let go of the end goal. We're too attached to the end goal. A woman could be too attached to going, am I going to actually have an orgasm today? oh my God, it takes me so long to have an orgasm. And then they finally have the orgasm and they're like, thank God I've had the orgasm. And then they switch off. And I'm like, well, why don't you keep going? There might be another one there. Because they're fixated in their head about reaching that goal. But if they weren't in their head and in their bodies and allowing their bodies to dictate what was happening, surprise, they might have more than one orgasm. And they can start opening themselves up to having multiple orgasms. But we are fixated on our head, what's going to happen, because we're looking at the end goal. So the more you can be in your body and just allowing your body to do things, you can be suddenly like, oh, is this where I am? Is this what I'm doing? Okay. Because you're not sort of really conscious of what's happening. You're just in that flow of writhing around and being intimate and kissing and cuddling and doing all the things that you do in foreplay, and you're not sort of really giving it any thought. You're just in the experience of it. And I think that's really wonderful that you can get lost in that experience, because everywhere else in life we have to be a little bit more planned and detailed with what we're doing. But in sex, it's like, no, put that aside. We don't need that.
That's wonderful. And that's so real. Like, we always focus in reaching the goal instead of like, I'm just going to have some pleasure session.
Yeah.
And then whatever happened in that session is okay. But we are not too attached to what we have to reach. I'm just going to feel. Allow ourselves to feel my body and to explore, maybe in a different ways. Maybe incorporate new toys, or maybe with my partner. I think that is essential for a human beings. So before we go, I would like you to maybe give some advice for someone who is struggling right now, disconnected from their body, and they feel like, I feel like I'm just too much in my head and nothing in my body. What would you be your secret recipe for that? Like a quick fix.
I think that one of the great things that you can do to get into your body is like taking a couple of deep breaths into your belly, and then after that bring your awareness down to your feet, and then like really shake your feet and then bring them into stillness, and then take a breath, and then move up your body, shake your legs, bring them into stillness, take a breath, and just go through all your body parts, shake them around and connect to them, and then stop and then breathe. That gets you into your body quite quickly. That's what I call my flexing body scan. That's a really easy one to do. You just can do that yourself, and that you'll feel your body. Because I take people through a body scan where it's more of a visual, and some people like that. And then I had a client a few years back that had ridiculous amounts of trauma, like basically married to a man for decades who basically raped her every day, and she had so many traumatic experiences with him, and so she was really hard work in respect of, she had a new partner, and she was mean to him. She was like, don't touch me. She was like very much like that. So I had to develop a few new things for her, and that was one that I developed, and she loved it because she could feel her body more when she did that shaking and stillness.
Mm-hmm.
I actually find I like that one too better, because I'm not very good with visual stuff. I'm not
Interesting.
not very visual, so I don't connect as well to my body if I'm doing a visual connection. So that one really works for me. And afterwards, I'm like, yeah, I can really feel my body because I've moved it and flexed it and shaken it. So I think that's a really good one.
So the first one will be the body breathing scan, and then the second one will be shaking, and then becoming more in stillness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just each body part, shake it, move it, squeeze it, wriggle it around, and then bring it into stillness, and just take a nice big deep breath into your belly. Just
Yeah.
work your whole body like that.
That always works.
And then
Always breathe in, breathe out a few times, and take your time. Like, no one is rushing you.
and at the very end, take 3 deep breaths into your belly.
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 normal breaths before you actually bring yourself out of it, because then that locks it into your system. It creates a somatic-based learning. It creates new cellular memory in the whole body as well. So it's imprinting it into your system a bit more when you take the 3 deep breaths and then the slow and normal breaths before coming out of it. I think that's important to know as well.
That's amazing. I really appreciate your time and being here today with the audience and sharing your wisdom and also some tips for people who reconnect and be more in your body. Feel it, experience, and that's a big invitation. I'm gonna drop all your socials below so everyone can just follow, check you out, and also if you are looking for a somatic expert, she is the best one. Yeah. So I hope to see everyone in the next episode. And thank you so much, Pauline, to be here today.
Thank
See
you.
you,
See you later.
everyone. Love you. What? See ya.